Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jade Monkey, and we're back here in Rust. And today we are talking about how to make a furnace base, which is very commonplace. And if you didn't know, if you try to make a furnace like this and place it outside, someone is going to take your loot, i.e. us. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is for everybody. This is for the Rust Console Edition beta and also for the Rust Console Edition that's currently going on right now. And if you're not in the NDA limited closed beta, don't worry, this is just around the corner. So this pertains to the beta and the full release. This will help everybody and even PC players. So if you're brand new, this is going to help you a lot. Okay, so actually, speaking of helping people a lot, I do have a Rust beta guides playlist. I'm going to go ahead and link it now in the upper right hand corner. We've got all kinds of things here. Monument guides, red cards, green cards, how to do the puzzles, building basics, raiding basics. It's all going to help you. Nothing's going to spoil anything for the game. If anything, it'll help you get started on your first wipe day as soon as this thing hits. And it's great. Okay, enough of the formalities. Let's get into this. Now, a furnace is super important, but it does require a few things. Now, there's a couple stipulations here as to when and how you would use these. So a furnace itself you can buy at the bandit camp, at the outpost. I'll get there. There we go. Outpost here for, I want to say 350 scrap. You can see it right there. Remember, outposts and bandit camps will shift around the map as from map to map and wipe to wipe. Those will vary as the maps are procedural. Keep that in mind. Really, the only blueprint you want to learn here would be the floor grill. And just so you know, I'm in an admin mode here, so that's why things don't stack normally this high. They either stack by 10 or they stack singular. Let me just show you with the floor grill itself. You really do need that for this. It's going to cost you 75 scrap, and it looks like to craft it, I think, is 75 metal fragments. So just so you know, and it's a level 1 workbench. So it's really needed for this. Really, it is. Okay, so we're going to show you how to do a basic furnace base like this. And there's many different ways to do this. There's many different ways to run your furnace. You can do it in your courtyard, or you can run it outside. I'd strongly recommend that you do not run these outside, especially if there's sulfur. And a little pro tip, the color of the smoke changes based off of what you're burning inside. Yes, this is high-end smelting, and it doesn't. You can use less wood to burn more stuff all at once. It's just like the small furnace, but on a much larger scale, and it's much more efficient with the wood. And you're not producing as much charcoal, so later on in the game, if you're like, we can't keep up with the charcoal production for GP, just know you can always run the small furnaces. Okay, let me just show you what this looks like on the inside. Hopefully I'm not going too terribly fast, but this is such a staple of any wipe. Now, you might be asking yourself again, why would I do this inside? Again, to protect yourself. But a lot of times, it's really expensive to do those giant stone walls outside. And you've got your main base, and a lot of times you want to have either the small base very close to it and protected for the most part, as far as people just running up and taking things. Or if you're out in the winter biome and you want to do a lot of farming there, these are also quite handy. So if you look up, part of the reason why people can't get through these, or I'm sorry, why the furnace can run through this, there are floor grills at the top. Now, I'm going to go into, I'm going to detach the camera here for a sec. We're going to go right through the floor grills. We have one floor grill. Actually, there's 4 on each floor. There's another one, and then a third layer. You don't have to go this thick with it. Just know that each floor grill is the equivalent of a metal sheet door. So either a double metal sheet or a single. Just for a point of comparison, it takes 4 satchels to take out a sheet metal door. So you're looking at this, you're looking at 4 satchels for each of these just to knock them out. So this is just above a garage door, as garage doors take 9 satchels. The little tiny ones that are made out of bean cans that are quite unreliable and hilarious. Okay, so let's go ahead and build this bad boy. This is assuming also that you have the floor grill and a furnace to place. I would say you don't need a ladder, but it's going to help you with placement. Now, I would also recommend doing these in small chunks, as doing these types of things here, people can run up on you. It can get dicey pretty quickly. Okay, so your basic standard tools, and again, if I'm going too fast, I do have a building basics tutorial, or a guide rather. I'm going to go ahead and link that now in the upper right hand corner. It'll help you with the building basics in general. So I'm going to try to go a bit faster, as these guides here will they take a minute. Okay, so with a fair amount of stone, so I'm going to go ahead with regular square foundations. And again, I like to pick a place that's semi-flat, and if it's not, pick the highest point and go out from there. On this side, we'll do this. And then just know, in this center section here, let me go ahead and bust out the hammer so you can see what I'm talking about. Whoops, right here, this is going to be knocked out, and we are going to place the furnace inside of here. Now, real quick, we're just going to place this tool cupboard. It makes it a bit easier so we can claim the land also, so we can hit demolish. Because if you notice right here, in the cementing phase that we're in, we should be able to destroy it, but since nobody owns it, or I do not have that option. But as soon as we place this tool cupboard, we will. Again, that building stuff is in that video we linked earlier. Okay, so now placing this, claiming it. I'm going to put a couple of holder pieces in here. Again, these are super stacks. You would normally have these. They only stack to 1,000 or less. Okay, with that right there, we're going to do the standard triangle shelf. Again, should be pretty standard fare. Whoops, for most. Halvesies, and then let's go up to this guy, just so we can sock it on the wall. Boop. And place, and then a ceiling. We're just creating a little small tool cupboard room here, just so we can operate inside of this. You would change these later on, but just remember, these aren't made to carry a lot of high-end loot. You come here, you smelt, and then you get it out of there. You don't really keep anything too major, so just remember, that's this base's purpose. Okay, so you can elevate these. It does help cut back on cost, but really, you're going to have to protect the top, as the soft side on foundations is the top. So you just look, if this were like this, you'd have to do something on the top of this too, because if somebody were to blow this up, they could just slide right up under your foundation. Or they can just come up here with melee and chop, chop, chop this. So you'd have to do something like this to cover these up. But again, I have a rating tutorial or guide. I'm going to go ahead and link that now in the upper right-hand corner. It's going to help you with stuff like that. So you'd have to do something like this. Anyways, we'll keep them flat for argument's sake. Too many things at once, Jade. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I've done this a couple times now. Hopefully I don't mess this up. If you see, I'm only upgrading the outside area. Then we're going to, since we're in the cementing phase, holding the hammer and holding right attack. I can now demolish these, or you can shoot these out with a bow and arrow. Now, to place a furnace, or to have it function, you do have to build around it initially. So you need to have the furnace crafted or purchased. So we're going to go right here, and you can do it in water as long as it's elevated. See how I can kind of make it go up. You really don't want it that high because you have to build the walls around it, but also, yeah, it just gets really obnoxious to jump in and navigate around. So I'm trying to leave myself a little bit of room here and there. It kind of helps if you do it diagonal like this. Okay, now what we are going to do is place these walls around the inside, like so. We'll show you how to do the doorway, because you might want to do that first, but I just want to show you how this goes. And this is where the ladder comes in, because then you can like place it and then pick it up later, because you own the area. Another reason why we wanted to do the tool cupboard first. Jump up here, move around. And again, this is just to get you started with this. There's many different variations for this. And again, build and add on to what you see as fit. I'm going to show you the core idea, and then you guys can go from there. Okay, so once this is tall enough, I'm almost there, then you can place tiles, or certain types of tiles, on the top. Let's go ahead and just make this a door. And then do this. And again, I would suggest doing small chunks of materials, so a little bit of wood, a little bit of stone, build, then go back in here, and then pick up another chunk of that stuff. Just so if somebody catches you off guard here, they're not going to get your whole stack of stone and whatnot. Yeah, how annoying is this jump? You can usually crouch jump up here, but I'm bad, so we're just going to do this. I might even use my admin powers and just fly up just to speed it up if I'm really bad, which looks like it might be the case. Okay, so there's only a few things you can place above a furnace and have it function. And one of those things are a floor frame. Ooh, just the right height. Perfect. See how it's going in right there? And if you want to run this bad boy, you need to have a floor grill on top with a floor frame, and then it will run. And if you've got it nice and snug to the top of this, you should be able to do multiple floors. Although I tell people get started with one floor grill floor, and then add to it as you start to get more and more, because it takes metal fragments. It takes 75. Wow, I'm really bad at that. All right, so you know what? We're going to do something like this, because this is more realistic. We're going to make a part of the honeycomb here. And then we'll do a half wall, and then we'll kind of jump up like this. This is more realistic. There you go. Instead of using ladders. Just showing you different ways to do it. Okay, so upgrading these to stone. Really, you don't need anything beyond stone. It's just enough protection. Now, you're going to want to make sure you have a level 1 workbench, and you've crafted at least 4 of these floor grills, and you have the blueprint already. Then once you place these here, you should be able to run the furnace downstairs. Now, we've got a little bit of upkeep here still. Let me go ahead and throw some wood in here so you know it can work. Again, spread things out just like a small furnace, but larger. So the kicker here is people can come up here and melee down on these and knock them out, but since it's so low to the ground, chances are they aren't. Now, you will have a lot of people trying to break into these eventually. People will wise up to it at some point. And when they do, you're going to want to add more floor grills on the top. Again, one floor grill is the equivalent of a sheet metal door. But in the interim, while you've gotten started here, this will work. So we're going to go ahead and place this here, and then another door here. I like to create these triangle airlocks. If you didn't know, now you do. And then since we're in the cementing phase, we can rotate that. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade these. Make sure hard side is out everywhere. Oh, there's a drop. I want to go get it. And then you'd place your sheet metal doors here. And again, 4 satchels for those. So I have super stacks, so I got to move them like this. Apologies. And then I like to have these swing inwards, so you create a single pass-through so nobody can wait outside with a double barrel and go deep. If you have not experienced somebody camping with a double barrel, then you are really fresh to the game, because I'm telling you, it's extremely common. It's awesome when you're doing it, not so awesome when you're on the receiving end of it, just saying. So here you would have storage and such. Again, I wouldn't keep anything major here. These are designed to farm in the area, smelt when you can, take those processed materials and move them out to your main base, because this by no means is going to be good long term. And expect people to break into these sections here, and then that's why typically, especially sulfur, I will try to remove that whenever it's being smelted. I don't know if we said it earlier because I've done so many takes of this, but the color of the smoke can determine if someone is smelting wood, metal, or sulfur. Pro tip. Eventually, when you do have the upgrade here, oops, I'm sorry, let me go ahead and let me do this. I'm going to show you what the upgrade upstairs looks like and extra honeycomb to really solidify this here. Also, if you have seeds and whatnot, you can throw these down here next to the furnace. Pretty nice. And if you have a ladder here getting in your face, you can always just pick those up. And let's say we wanted to upgrade this. Well, actually, let's go outside real quick. You can see how this is single pass through. Then we can just run in on it. It's actually, this one's pretty low profile. And again, if you do something like this over here with the foundations raised, and you can totally do this, just know that you're going to have to cap the top of this with some sort of just smaller honeycomb. This way, the soft side for a ceiling is the underside. And so basically, these are all hard sides, because the foundation soft side is the top. So somebody could come up here with the metal picks and stuff while you're away and just knock this out. And if they did, they could, just with melee, then they can get in here and go, thanks, munch, 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 thanks for the sulfur, which, you know, you'll do. So if other people make that mistake, take advantage. So to prevent this, that little melee kickdown, again, block it either with a full-size wall, like this. This is kind of tricky while I'm standing in it. Oh, wow. Don't upgrade it to metal. That's kind of a waste. See how we've got a little honeycomb pocket here? And again, you can do it with the smaller section like we did here. See this little half wall? And then we can do a full wall. Let me go ahead and fly up here. Again, this is admin mode, so you won't have access to this. This shows you right here. So if somebody tries to melee down on this, they can't, because the hard side for a ceiling tile is the underside, this little wood section. So clearly they can't get into this, and it creates more honeycomb for the actual base itself. Usually I tell people just get started like this, whatever's the cheapest, and then kind of watch your furnace, and then as you get more materials, you can start to add more honeycomb on the outskirts. You know, stuff like this. And then if you're really feeling pretty rich, you can also like metal out the what is it? The tool covered area. That's just mostly like a little staging zone for you to get your stuff done. Okay, so let's get up to the top here and do some of the floor grills. I'm going to try to show you what this is going to look like. So I'm going to try to do this on the ground without flying, just so you see how slow it is and how many extra materials you will need, and some of the approaches for climbing without a ladder, as it were. So like right here, I put a full-size wall, then a half wall, so I can jump on this, then this, and then what I can do is place a, whoopsie, I'm bad at jumping. I can place a triangle floor or ceiling tile. Wow, I'm super bad. Let's try that again. There we go. Now I have these up to the top. Beautiful. Now what you can do here is place half walls all the way around, just on the outskirts. And again, this costs the same as a full wall, believe it or not. If you don't believe me, try it. And again, I only recommend this once you've gotten this furnace making you some type of resource. Monies, air quote. Just, you know, it doesn't make sense to sink a lot of resources if somebody's going to just roll it real quick. But again, if you're at the furnace stage where you want to go big crew melting, you usually have enough to make a furnace base like this. Okay, so this right here is going to turn this into an 8 satchel raid. Those are the ones with little bean cans. Man, I cannot make jumps today. Again, these are 75 metal fragments a piece. If you do know the blueprint, and it does take a workbench 1 to do so. And right there, if you were to extend your honeycomb around this base and add those floor grills, you've increased the raid cost of this considerably. So a lot of times, I want to say that when we're doing this, we either use it with a satellite base out in the winter biome, which we did mention earlier, but these are often right next to the main base just to keep people off your back. And then we start to add a perimeter, which is stone walls and then other tool covers to kind of claim the area. But yes, this should help you get started. And again, you can make any kind of modifications you want to this. As a matter of fact, I would encourage it, especially to your needs, because again, rust is about the right thing at the right time. So feel free to experiment with this, but this should definitely get you started and protect your large furnace and your investment on your larger materials. So if you found this useful and helpful, be sure to drop a like. And if you are not already subscribed and you think this is something you'd watch again, not just this video, but we've got other Rust stuff and other open world survival, consider dropping a subscribe and turning on those notifications. And yes, myself, Jade Monkey, RazorTube, and BioLaser, the Boyfriend Squad, we will be playing this in the beta. And as soon as we're allowed to stream it, we'll be streaming it. And also, we will be playing this during full release. Well, not just for a little bit. We'll be making the switch to playing on console, because we've been waiting for this forever. So we're mad excited for this. So let me know how it went for you guys in the comments down below. Any suggestions, anything else you would like to see in the future. And yeah, super excited for this. Can't wait to see everybody on the beach, right? See some of those builds, some of that loot out there. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye. Rust plus application. Boop, 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 boop. Beep, boop, boo, wee.